God almighty, how long has it been going? Okay. Okay, guys, what I want you to do is get in a document. Somebody turn the recorder off, and anyway. So get into a document, get somewhere, and press F2. Yours is function. Function F2. Okay. And just do O. Yeah. Highlight it.
This one?
Yeah. Pick one of the speakers in there. Press OK. Or enter. You see how I put it into a speaker? Did it do that?
Yes.
Hmm? Now go up one line. Okay. Now I'm going to show you guys how to do something. Like, say this attorney calls you and he wants you to get a transcript out, and it's the 38 to 98 page of the 187 page document, okay? So what I'm going to teach you to do is do a page break. And the page break, what it does is it's going to break that line. So say you did end, it's the end of the document, but it's on page 98, line 18. Well, you need that document to be completely separate. Does that make sense? You need it to be on a totally different page. So you want the rest of that document that goes on down on a totally different page. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yes.
Okay. Do Alt-N. And it should be the first one. Go to F2. Hold on. Go to F2. Be honest.
Page break.
Yeah, F2. Highlight what is. Okay, now go up to one. Just arrow.
Alt-N.
Go to F2. Right there. And do Alt-N. Yeah. Page break, which is the first one. Enter. See how it did that page break? You see how it does it? Press enter. So see how it puts that gray page break in there?
Yes.
Did it do it? You see how it has that?
Let me see what it takes.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Now just arrow down from there a couple of times. Okay? Now you want to take that page break out because you need it to go back. Okay? So arrow up to where you get to that page break, where it says page break. Okay, so get on that page break where you see the page break highlighted.
Mine doesn't show anything about a page break.
Where'd you put it? Okay, now arrow left. 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 Just keep going left until you see that page. How many page breaks did you do? Huh?
It's not going
What?
It's literally not stop.
Let me go check on my car.
No, I put it right here.
Where?
Right above the witness.
Okay, do Alt-N. Now it has the page break. Now come down.
Right.
So, yeah, you may not be able to get to it from there. So when you do that,
do anything different? It's not my one.
Is your page break disappearing?
Mm-hmm. Yours too?
The thing that says page break is, yes.
Yeah, mine is.
Like if I move up or down, it'll go away.
Yeah, and it's supposed to disappear, guys.
okay.
This is only for editing purposes, okay? So like when you print, it's not gonna print page break. Okay, so anything in those gray little areas, it's not gonna print that. So if you go print it, it's not gonna print it, it's not gonna say page break, okay? But you're on page break, okay? Now just do Control Y. See how it deleted that line? It deletes the whole line, okay? So it doesn't only work with sentences, okay? That's not the only time you're going to use it. So you're going to use it like on page breaks too. So that's where you need that, okay? Remember that one because this one is good on Control Y, okay? Did she turn that thing on?
I don't know. No, she didn't.
It's still on?
Yes.
Okay.
Should I turn it off?
No. Okay, got it?
Got it.
But Alt-Y will only delete from your cursor position to the end of the line.
You see what it's telling you right there? So be real careful when you're doing this. Control Y is going to delete the whole line. Alt Y is going to delete from wherever you have that cursor to the end of that sentence. Okay? Or the end of the line. Okay? So be real careful right there because if you don't want to delete that whole line, then you do Alt Y. But if you mess up, how do you get it back?
Z.
Z. Okay? So don't freak out, all right? Don't freak out and start typing stuff because once you start typing, you can't get the Z back. You can't undo the oops. Okay? You already oopsed it out. All right? So be real careful when you're doing that because once you figure out that you did the mistake, then just do the Y. Okay?
And Shift-Alt-Y will delete from cursor position to the end of the paragraph.
You got that? Shift-Alt-Y will delete to the end of the paragraph. Okay, so you can be in the middle of that sentence. Or you can be, that paragraph can be 5 sentences long. Okay? And, from wherever you have your cursor, it's going to delete from that paragraph on. Okay? Got it?
Got it.
What's Control Y?
Deleting the line.
Deletes the line. Alt Y deletes from wherever your cursor is to the end of the line. Okay? And then Shift Alt Y is delete to the end of the paragraph.
Let's say I included the wrong certificate page in this transcript. I could hit the Mark key, then Control page down to get to the end of the file, and then press the Delete key. Eclipse will ask if I really want to delete that much of the document, and in this case, I'll answer yes.
You understand what it was telling you there? Pretty good stuff right there. Okay? So say you accidentally put in a block file that you don't need, or you accidentally push Control V. Control V is paste the document. Control C copies. So when you mark something, you do Control C, it's going to copy that. It doesn't remove it, it just copies it from there. And say you want to put it in another document, you do Control V, it's going to put that in there. And let's just say you want to delete a line. Well, you had already copied and pasted something in there, okay? And you press the wrong thing and you press Control V instead of Control Y because you wanted to delete the line. Well, now you've got 40 pages of something that you don't need in there. No big deal. Mark it. How do you mark it?
Shift X.
No.
No.
Shift X.
Shift X.
No.
Mark?
Shift X.
No, I
X-
like
X
where you're
marks
going
the
with that,
spot.
but no. Where you start marking the document in where you want to do something with it.
Control X.
It's M.
Oh.
M in hyperkeys or Shift 7. Okay? Shift 7 is going to mark document. And this is what it looks like. So when you do Shift 7, or you can do M, you see how it starts marking it? And then you just do arrow down. That's what I was talking about mark. Not X marks the spot, I'm sorry. You were right. I like where you were going with it. Wrong, but right.
Shift 7?
Oh, you were saying X. X marks the spot. You were right, but wrong.
Right, no, but Shift 7 marks the document.
Shift 7 marks the document also. So if you're in hyperkeys, it's M. M for mark, okay? Or Shift 7 does the same thing. And then you just arrow down or page down. You can page down and mark as much as you want. And it'll take you to the end of the document, okay?
And then when you're done, just press D.
And then when you're done, just press delete. D is going to delete a word.
Okay.
So you want to push delete, the delete key, which should be up in the upper right-hand corner by the numbers.
Delete
Now-
ends the marking.
I'm sorry?
Delete ends the marking of the document.
No, delete's going to delete it.
Whatever you mark.
Once it's marked.
So you want to mark it with your arrows as far as you want to go down. Okay? And then once you have it marked, press delete. The good thing about Eclipse is usually when you mark a lot of that document, it's going to ask you, are you sure this is what you want to do? Yeah, it is. Okay. So it always kind of is trying to make sure that that's what you want to do. Okay? Got it?
Got it. Yeah.
Okay. Pretty easy lesson right there. Got it? Any questions about delete or oops? Pretty self-explanatory, but yay, nay? No? All right. How do you zoom?
Control Shift
Control Shift F7. Hyperkeys.
Alt.
I like that the same person answers every time. I like that. I'm just gonna start asking you. I'm just gonna look at you, is that right? Guys, I'm telling you guys this because it's important, okay? Always remember how to get into hyperkeys. How do you get out of hyperkeys?
And
In. Or Alt-Z again. Alt-Z gets you in, Alt-Z will get you out. All right? But usually the easiest way is just to press in. And what's in? Insert. Insert. So that's going to take you back to like a word processing mode where you're just going to start typing stuff in. Okay? All right. Now we're going to talk about trouble spots. Okay? This is one of the most important lessons of the tutorial. You may want to go through it more than one time after you have done the exercise in the lesson. You can use help, install lesson, and get a fresh copy that will allow you to do the exercises again. Y'all remember me telling you that, right? So when you go through the lessons, don't freak out that you're going to mess something up or that you think that you messed something up or deleted something, because how do you go in and reinstall that lesson?
go to install lesson.
Go to help.
Install lessons, select all of them and attain.
Well, I mean, if you can do all of them, but if you just messed up on that one, then just do that one. But I mean, you can do it, you know, every time and just mark all of them, which is how? Mark the first one, then what?
Drag your cursor down.
Which is what? Shift arrow down. Shift down arrow will mark all of them, okay? But that's how you do it. Come in here, install lesson player, pick the one that you messed up, it installs it again. So don't freak out that it's gonna go. Now don't go into the install lesson player and, actually I don't think it lets you go into the lesson. But don't start, if it does, don't start messing with those, because once those are gone, then you're gonna have to reinstall the whole thing again, okay? Now we're gonna talk about trouble scans, scan to untranslates, scan to conflicts, scan to unresolved conflicts, and fill in the blanks. Okay? Pay attention.
Eclipse offers a large number of scans as well as multi-scan for quick editing of your document. You can scan forward quick editing of your document. You can scan forward or backward looking for any of several items, but the most basic trouble spots are untranslates and unselected conflicts. Here's the toolbar icon to scan to trouble spots. It will stop on untranslates, conflicts that have not yet been selected, and blanks that have not yet been filled with information.
You see what it's telling you right there? So say you want to go through and you took a depot. You're ready to start editing, okay? You can do it if you want. I don't. I just kind of go through as I'm going, but if you want to make it easier on yourself, you can. And this is the way you do it, okay? You can come to your unresolved conflicts, and if you stroked it correctly, highlight it, global it, which is what? G. G. In hyperkeys is G. It's going to bring up a little box, ask you what you want in there. NEEDS is what you need, what you needs, and then push enter and it puts it in there. So if you stroke this and it's it's something that's not in your dictionary, put it in your main dictionary. Say this is somebody's proper name and you want to highlight it because that's the way that you stroked it, and you want to put it into a job dictionary. How do you do that?
Also G.
G, global it, put the name in, and then how do you put it into a job dictionary? Have we talked about that?
You go, you select where it's in the same main dictionary. If you just want to get the job, you do the drop down menu.
Instead of going into main, which is Control M, which is automatically usually going to put it in your main dictionary, so it's always going to bring that one up. You do Control J. Control J in that little box, and I'll show you once we finish this thing on how to do it. But it's going to bring up that little box, and it's Control J to put it in a job dictionary, because maybe this is going to conflict with something else, or say I stroked Rod for Rod, you know, because it was Mr. Rodriguez. Well, I don't want it in there all the time because maybe they're going to have Mr. Rottingham next week, and I do Rod, well, it's going to come up Rodriguez every time. So I just wanted to global it for that job as a job dictionary, in my job dictionary, to where it's only going to do it in that job, not in my main. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Got a little far off, but anyway. So it goes to unresolved conflicts. Conflicts, which conflicts are things that you write the same. Guys, really? You're not going to write these two words the same, do you? You should write the contraction totally different. Totally. Do you?
One of them uses an asterisk, isn't it?
They're different.
Yeah, it's different, right? For y'all? Okay. It's different for me too, but say you do it. And then all they're doing is giving you an example right here, okay? So say you do accident and, I don't know, didn't, kind of close. And you want to create it, and you do it so much, and you misstroke and you misstroke one or the other every time you do it, well, that's how you create a conflict. Okay, and it creates a conflict, so when you put your cursor right here, you just press number 1, because, is that correct? Number 1?
Yes.
Yeah. So you just press number 1, well, it's going to put your in there, and then you just keep on going. So you're going to be able to come to conflicts, unresolved conflicts, and fill in the blanks. And that's what it's telling you. So if you want to go through the document first, before you start editing, this is the way you do it. Okay?
Of course, it's faster to use hyperkey T or speed key Control T, as in trouble. But you may want to target untranslates only, or go just to the next conflict, perhaps an unselected conflict. There are hyperkeys for these purposes, as well as speed keys. Multi-scan automatically repeats your last scan.
Understand what they're saying here. So when this is on, and say you press C, it's going to go to the conflict. Okay? If you have this multi-scan on, it's going to go to the next conflict, and the next conflict, and the next conflict, and as you resolve them, press enter, it's going to go to the next conflict because you have that multi on. Okay? That's what it's telling you right there.
So if I want to quickly go through my document, correcting untranslates.
See what it's doing? You see what it's doing, guys? On the video? He's going through, he doesn't have to do C every time, okay? He pushed C to resolve his conflicts, and as he's doing it, because it's on multi, it just goes through and it keeps going to the next conflict until you get to the end of the document. Okay? So once you put the conflict in there, press enter, puts a word in there, it's going to go to the next conflict.
Or resolving conflicts. Then multi-scan would be the quickest way to go through my document.
So if you want it on or off, that's the way you do it. Okay? So if you're doing something, and it doesn't matter what, goes to the next untranslate, whatever, or you're doing something in your document and it keeps taking you to the end of the page, it's probably because that multi is on. Okay? So if you're doing something in your document and say you're on page 3 and then all of a sudden you put it in and all of a sudden it takes you to page 99, that's probably why, because this multi is on. Shift Control M takes it on and off. Okay? Write that down.
If, however, you find that Eclipse loses your place after you create a global or resolve a conflict, check to see if you haven't accidentally turned multi-scan on.
Got that?
Yes.
All right. Okay, now they're going to give you a little exercise right here and you can kind of mess with this stuff. Okay? So, you want to go to the next unresolved conflict, all you do is press U. Are y'all in the document? Are y'all in the document or are you in the tutorial?
I'm in the document.
In the tutorial? Okay, get into the tutorial and start messing around with this little thing right here. All right? You should be right here. Put your cursor up in here somewhere. Are y'all, is everyone here? Yeah? Yeah? Okay. Now press U. It should have brought you right here. Did it?
It took me to trouble.
It took you to trouble?
Yeah, trouble.
It took her.
Okay. Because what it may have done,
Is it a capital U or does it not?
no, it should have just been U in hyperkeys. Press U again.
No, I didn't.
Now it took you to
No.
needs? Okay. Because this was, you see how it's in red? This was probably an unresolved conflict, and I probably resolved it. So I need to just reload my, or did y'all have it in there too?
Mine was already.
It was already-
Yours was already done? Okay.
This is in
Well, it's in
red.
red, so somebody went through, I guess, in the document and had already fixed it. Okay, and that's what they're saying. So you see if it's in red, it's gonna be the same thing. So it was an unresolved conflict. You see how it's in green? Green means it's something else, which means that it was probably a conflict. And we'll mess with that in just a bit. So you wanna do needs. How do you do that? How do you fix it?
Once I hit G, it's gonna bring up the.
You should be right here.
Yeah,
Push G,
G.
do it. Push G. It's gonna bring this up. Does it bring up this little box like this?
Yes.
Guys,
Yes.
you don't have to type in the word. It's giving you suggestions right here. So all you do is one, puts it in there. This is what I was talking about right here. It's always gonna ask, it's always gonna assume that you want it in your main. Okay? But when you don't, press Control J. So Control J, just put it into a job dictionary. Okay?
So nothing will pop up when she press Control J, it just automatically goes.
It just automatically does it. Yeah, it's not going to ask you if you want to do it. It just automatically does it. So if you're unsure or whatever, then you can pop open the little box. Okay? So say you need to do it again. Press 1. It's already in there. You can drop this little box. Okay? And you can put it into Trash Global, whatever. Control J is for a job dictionary. Okay? Got it?
Right.
That's how you do it. All right, come back up here. Now do C. And that's going to take you to a conflict that's already been resolved. So the more you resolve kind of your conflicts, the software begins to understand what you're doing and the context of where you're using it, and sometimes it'll do it for you. But if it doesn't, and it had the your and your right here, the your and the contraction your, then you just press number 1 and it puts this your in there. Okay? Now press E, where you are right there. And it should have gone right there. Did it?
Yes.
Okay. What that is a fill in the blank. Okay? And we'll go through that next semester when you take Eclipse 2. Okay? That's further down on how to do the fill in the blanks. Okay? Way, way ahead of what you even need right now. We're just on basic stuff that what you need to edit your jobs right now. But they're showing you how to do it. So E, so type your name in there, all caps. And press enter. Replace it. Okay? Did it take you to the next blank or did it leave you there? Okay. Mine is on multi, so it took me to the next one. Okay? No big deal. But usually once you do it, like when you create these fields, which we'll do next semester, when you create these fields and you put these little things in there, like witness, hearing, date, cause number, stuff like that. So say they ask for the witness's name up here. You put the witness's name, your name. Well, the next time it comes to the witness, it's going to pop up that name. because you already had witness in there, so it's going to ask you. Last time we came to a field, there was a fill in the blank that had witness. This is the name you put in there. Do you want to put this name in there again? It's already up there. And it's going to be highlighted. So, when you come right here, it's going to say David Zarate right here. And it's going to be highlighted. Do you want David Zarate there? No, I don't. I need Melissa Garcia. No big deal. You just start typing. This thing goes away. I mean, all of this stuff goes away, the David Zarate, and you just start typing Melissa Garcia. Got it? If not, then you just press enter, and it's going to put the name that you already had in there. Okay? So it's going to remember the name that you had. Make sense?
That was E.
E.
Let's see how to quickly select steno strokes to perform global replacements. In global replacements, in the edit section of user settings, you'll see the option global after scan. If there's a check in that box, here's what it does. When I scan to the next untranslate, Eclipse will automatically highlight one stroke of steno for globaling. If I need additional strokes for globaling, I can simply press Ctrl G as in global.
You see what it's telling you right there? So if you do the G in hyperkeys, you can only do it once. You can only mark that spot once. Okay? So get into a document. Are you in? Everyone's in? You're in hyperkeys? Yeah?
Yeah, I'm in hyperkeys. Is that it? That's it right there, right? I'm in hyperkeys.
Yeah. See how it's big? You pressed in. Look like it's pressed in. Okay. Get on a word at the beginning of a word and do G. Now do G again. You see how it doesn't let you mark anymore? It marked it the first time. Now it's saying, this is what you wanted. Let's start typing. Okay? But say the word is, exit out of that. Now do G. Well, you know what? I need more. So do Control G.
Go to the next word.
Go to G. Control G.
I did.
Again.
Again? While you're there?
Just keep doing what I'm telling you. Just, and next thing, and keep doing it. Just keep doing Control G.
Oh, no. Okay. We do know.
You see how it keeps marking? So if you have something that's 4 strokes, you can't mark it with 4 strokes in hyperkeys. Hyperkeys, when you push G to global it, it means mark global is only going to let you mark 1 stroke. Okay? If you need more, and it's going to explain on how to do it. I think it's redundant, but they're going to show you how to do it on the computer with the mouse. Ridiculous. This is the best way to do it. Alt G marks it, or if you know that it's already 3 strokes, you don't need to mark it with the G. You can just start doing Control G all the way across. Okay? So you don't necessarily just have to do G the first time. You can do Control G. Got it?
Got it. Doesn't make sense.
Well, what if I scan to an untranslate, and the steno that I need to add does not come after, but before the untranslate? Here's where the arrows come in handy. You can target steno that comes.
So what it's telling you right here is it's going to go to the next untranslate. Well, say you already translated Mac, which you should. I mean, if you do McPherson, McGinty, McGillicuddy, McClinchy, and they're all the same, and you do that stroke the same, then you want to mark it as its own standalone thing. So when you mark it as a, I'm going to call it a prefix. Is that what it's called? I don't even know what it's called. The MC. I'll call it a prefix, okay? So when you mark this as a prefix, it's going to know to put it on the word. Well, you're going to mark it, you're going to stroke it the same way every time, okay? So if that's a way, you know, if somebody said, hey, Mac, you know, what's going on? You know, kind of like saying, hey, dude. Well, you don't want to stroke it the same, okay? I don't stroke it the same. So what I do is I do MAK with a star, with the asterisk, okay? That tells me that, or it tells my dictionary software that it's going to be MC, and it needs to put it on with something, okay? Because Mac to me is MACK. Well, that's the way I stroke Mac. But I kind of do it the same, so to create something different, I use the asterisk for it to become the prefix. Make sense? See? No? You got it? I'm looking at you.
But that's only a prefix.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you want to mark it differently, okay? No big deal. So what it's going to do is come to the next unresolved conflict, which is here because it doesn't know McFurs. So it comes here because it already knows that. Now it's going to tell you how to do it by using these arrows. Okay?
Comes before your starting point or after it. Although you can use the mouse to point and click, keyboard commands are generally faster. Your keyboard's up-down arrows will add or subtract steno in front of your starting point, while control down or control up will add or subtract steno after your starting point.
See what it's telling you right there? The arrows are going to add or subtract either way. Okay? So, you know, it had McPherson, it already knew Mick, it was here, so you needed to come back, so you use the arrow. Okay? And that's what it was telling you, to add it in there. Okay? Make sense? Easy enough?
Of course, you do not have to use automatic global after scan. I prefer to use hyperkeys that make it possible to select multiple steno strokes with one button. So here, instead of having to press Control-G 5 times, I can just use hyperkey 0 to catch the 5 strokes with one button.
You understand what it's telling you there? Okay? You can mark these. 7 is 2, 3, 4, 5. Because G is automatically 1. Okay? So it doesn't give you a 1 to mark 1 because that's already G. So 7, Alt 7, 2, 3, 4, 5 strokes. You're going to save about 1/100th of a second doing it that way. Whatever. They're just trying to show you a different way of being able to mark it maybe a little bit quicker. Okay? The next time I use it, be the first time I use it. But whatever. If you like it, great. If you can remember it, great. Okay? 7 is 2, 8 is 3, 9 is 4, 0 is 5. See? So if you can remember that 7 is 2, 8 is 3, 9 is 4, and 0 is 5, knock yourself out. Okay?
If you're on a word, you press Control-G, and then you just do Alt-7.
No, this is skipping the whole spot. You don't even have to mark it anymore. So get onto a word, and let's see if it even does it. Get onto a word and do Alt-7. Yeah, yours did it. See how it marked too?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
See how it marked too?
So you don't even mark that.
Go down. Yeah, do alt 7.
So if I do alt.
You did alt 7 or F7? Here's my do the function. Do the function alt
It's
F7.
never gonna function. I don't know.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Alt 7. Shift alt 7. Function alt shift delete F7.
It's
Do
just turning my
function
hyper
alt
keys
7.
off.
It's turning your hyper keys off.
So.
If it's not doing it, it's probably because of your computer. Everybody done? Yours doing it? Two
I'm
strokes,
just
two.
not real worried
You
about
got
it.
two?
I'm not really, I know, but.
You do it?
Mine did
Like
have,
those-
alt
What?
7, but then when I tried to do alt 8, it still was like it's doing alt 7. Still doing alt 7.
Yeah, that's one other, this is a different spot. It may just be picking up, yeah. There's no still. Oh, because it's a kid. You don't go black. Because it's, you know, it did 3. It
Oh,
did AI.
No, it's right.
MISTO.
Oh, duh, okay. Okay.
Guys, when you do this, it doesn't tell you the number of words, it's the number of strokes. Okay? So it's not gonna highlight,
My words are shift 7.
Yeah, mine worked with shift 7.
okay, and it may be different because of the function key on some. So some of them it's gonna be alt, some of them it's gonna be shift. So if yours isn't doing it, it's gonna be shift, okay? But it's doing it.
Yeah, if I use shift.
And it's 2-stroke.
But to do, you said to do 0. Alt 0. It's supposed to do
Yeah,
5.
0, not alt, right?
0. It's 0, not O,
Oh.
okay?
Oh.
0.
Oh.
Oh. I got only 4 highlighted.
Huh?
It highlighted only 4, not
So alt is
5.
shift.
So if it's not working with the alt, it's the shift on your computer.
Look at the strokes on the top.
Yeah, it's not the word, guys. It's not the word, it's the strokes. Okay? Duh.
Oh, I know. And I was like, it did 4 lines.
See?
But if they're
But not, and you see that it did,
Right.
yeah. But it's not gonna necessarily do 4 words if you did, if, you know, maybe one word was 3 strokes.
Okay.
So it's gonna show you strokes, okay? Got it?
Got it.
All right. Any questions about that?
No.
I like it.
If you want to use it, great. If you don't, great. But that's what it is. 72839405. And depending, if it's not working with alt, then it's shift. Okay? I don't know why it does that with some of the computers. You know, some of them it does, some of them it doesn't. All right.
How do you say what your steno means? Total Eclipse steno means. Total Eclipse lets you global at a glance. Glance at the list, pick the choice. It's that easy. Ordinary CAT systems may try to use a basic phonetics table and the spelling dictionary to try to guess what you're globaling. This approach is typically not very successful and easily produces nonsense suggestions that only wind up adding steps to the globaling process. In contrast, Total Eclipse Global Magic is a sophisticated blend of several powerful tools. It's amazingly accurate, and it requires no extra steps. Here, with one button, I've marked 4 steno strokes for a global replacement. Eclipse automatically generates a short list of suggestions.
You see what it's doing? We've already kind of gone through this, so that's why I'm kind of playing through it, okay? So if you don't understand, all it's saying is, you go through here and mark 4 things, it's already going to guess at what it thinks you're trying to spell, okay? No big deal. If it's one of these, you press the number. No big deal. If it's not, and see how it already highlighted it or whatever, put something in there, you don't have to worry about backing up, deleting, whatever. You just start typing and that goes away and it goes to it. All right? Yeah?
Yes.
You got this look like.
Using intelligent phonetics. No need to type or press the Alt key or scroll or use the mouse. Glance at the list, press 1, then either press Enter or place this in any dictionary I need.
Got that? Select. Here. You want it in your main. Press enter. If you don't, Control J puts it into a job. Control T puts it into a trash dictionary. Okay? Easy enough? Those are probably the 3 you're going to use.
How do you select the job dictionaries for certain? I'm confused, like when it goes into a job dictionary.
Why would you put it into a job dictionary?
Yeah, and how do you name the job dictionaries to apply to a certain job?
Hey, you don't have to get all... Really, that's a good question. It really is a good question. And we're going to get to it, but it's later on down the line in dictionaries, okay? But, Annette?
Yes.
Annette was asking, why would you put it into a job dictionary? Okay? Well,
Krzyzewski.
duh. Say you're taking a depot of Mr. Krzyzewski, all right? And it has to do with oil and gas stuff. You not like that kind? I love that guy. He's a great coach. And it has to do with oil and gas, okay? So you've created a bunch of shortcuts and briefs that you're going to use only in this job. It's going to conflict with other stuff, but you're going to global it to where it matches this job, because you're going to take this job, you're taking depots in this job for 5 days, let's just say, okay? Well, what you do is you create a job dictionary. Some of this stuff you may want in your main dictionary. And if you do, you put it in your main. But if you don't, because we're taking the depot of Mr. Krzyzewski, he's getting sued, and we're using all of these oil and gas terms, so I'm going to create a job dictionary. Okay? And let's just say the name of the job was Krzyzewski. Okay? So the next time you go to take that deposition, somebody's getting whacked with this. The next time you want to go take the next deposition in that case, when you open up into doing real time, it's going to ask you, do you want to add any dictionaries? It automatically adds your main dictionary. So it has a place in there to select dictionaries. Okay? So you press that key, look for Krzyzewski, highlight Krzyzewski, put it in there. So now you have your main dictionary and Krzyzewski. Well, now you're taking the deposition of Mr. Apolinar. Whatever. Okay? So now you have a job dictionary that coincides with Krzyzewski and the other depositions that you're taking. But you're using a lot of the same terms and the same people, and you're using the same briefs. So now the next time you go to use this thing and you open it up to go into your real time, now you have your main in there. You go into your dictionary, select the dictionary, put Krzyzewski and Apolinar, and now you're going to take the deposition of Mr. Gonzalez, and there you go. That's why you would create a job dictionary. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Y'all done laughing.
Just don't say
What's the joke?
shush.
What's the joke? Hmm?
It's just the name. It's funny.
Why?
But we call you Mr. Shishmansky.
Yeah, we don't
Turn
call
that
you
thing
Mr.
off, 'cause somebody's getting back.